All right, you morally ambiguous, money-hungry Muppets. Gather around for a tale that'll make your bank account tingle and your conscience squirm. So on this channel, we've covered everything you need to know to get clients and make money on YouTube. But today, we're ripping off the Band-Aid and exposing the festering wound that gives our industry a bad reputation. Because anyone can make money doing this, which means both good and bad people can make money doing this. It's like a financial free-for-all where both Yoda and Darth Vader have an equal opportunity to win the jackpot. So with that being said, glue your eyeballs to this video because here's the twist. The other side of the equation, the ethical cheat codes, are even more powerful than the dark ones. It's kind of like finding out that the light side of the Force comes with a complimentary jetpack and a lifetime supply of ice cream. And by the way, some of these ethical cheat codes use the same principles that the bad ones are based on, but it's like using your power for good instead of evil, or using the lightsaber to make perfect toast instead of, dismemberment. Now I'm handing these ethical cheat codes to you because it's time for good people like you to win big. And with all joking aside, these are the ethical cheat codes that literally made me a millionaire. These are the most important things that I did that contributed to my success. So if you want more of this top tier caviar grade advice, fondle that like button like it's the last warm body that you'll ever touch. And let's go ahead and jump into it right now. The first thing is these cheat codes are going to be in 4 different areas. They are going to be in mindset, health, productivity, and actually making money, right? Because that's pretty important when it comes to being a millionaire. So these are the 4 areas we're going to be talking about when it comes to these cheat codes. And the first thing we're going to talk about is cheat codes for mindset. So fixing your mindset is absolutely without a doubt for a newbie. If you're watching this and you're a newbie, or even if you're watching this and you're an experienced business owner, you probably still could do some work on your mindset. Fixing your mindset is without a doubt the most important thing you can possibly do when it comes to making money long term. And it's not the thing that people want. What people want is the, get rich quick cheat code. They want the, some kind of tip or a trick or some kind of magical marketing technique, some kind of AI chatbot that just automatically gets them, clients and money. And that stuff, once in a while, it does actually work. I'll admit it. Sometimes there's these little tactics that work for a little bit, but usually it doesn't last very long. There's some kind of AI trick that you can do to get extra clients and it lasts for like a couple months and then everyone does it and then it doesn't work anymore. With that being said, mindset is something that will last the rest of your life. And this is what you really need to succeed because most people have terrible mindsets. And one simple tip is to have a good mindset, get rid of things that are more fun than working on your business. This way, working on your business becomes the most enjoyable activity. This is just a simple tip that is incredibly powerful. In other words, what you can do is go monk mode. That's what this is essentially called. Okay, this is what all the kids call it these days. Monk mode. Monk mode is where you basically only focus on exercise, diet, sleep, maintaining basic social stuff, and then also actually making money. That's monk mode, okay? And essentially what monk mode is getting rid of things that are more fun than working on your business. And most of these things are just basically mindless self-indulgence, okay? Mindless self-indulgence, or MSI. Things like playing video games, right? Video games. Things like prawn, okay? Things like social media, mindlessly searching social media. All of these things are cheap dopamine. That's what they are. Cheap dopamine. And it's basically dopamine where you're tricking your body into thinking that you're doing something productive and fun when in reality you're not. So you like your body is designed to give you dopamine when you do good things like eating food or catching a tiger or winning a fight or, all these types of things. Like your body is designed to give you dopamine because it's like drama, like a tiger goes into your village, you capture it, you defeat it, you drive it away, whatever, you get a lot of dopamine. But then you watch this same drama on TV or on YouTube and you get the dopamine, but you didn't actually accomplish anything because you're watching other people do it, right? And that's not good. So you want to only give yourself dopamine when it's real, when you're actually accomplishing things. And the way you do that is by working out, sleeping right, working on your business, doing things to make sure that your focus is good, like meditating and that kind of thing. And the second thing you want to do, guys, is control your environment. This is super, super important. So the environment that you spend most of your time in, like, you need to have control over this environment. And one of the biggest things that you can do that will just almost instantly probably double your productivity, and it'll probably add another like 5 to 10 years onto your life as well, is just simply do not keep snacks like soda, candy, bars, cookies, brownies, ice cream, chocolate, chocolate milk, etc. in your house. It's just that simple. Just don't keep them in your house. And if you ever get them, you either have to leave your house or order them to your house, but it's going to be a pain because either way you have to like wait for them, right? If you order them to your house, you probably have to wait like 15 to 30 minutes. If you go out and get them, you also probably have to wait, like 15 minutes or something. But it's just like a barrier to entry to getting these things. And if you ever do order something to your house, never order more than you can eat in one sitting, right? And just doing this alone is going to reduce the amount of crappy food you eat by, it's probably like 80%. Like literally, like you're going to eat like 80% less crappy food. And because of that, you're going to be healthier, right? So your weight is going to be lower. So that's a nice thing. You're going to have more energy. Okay. Energy. You're going to have better focus, more focus. And just everything in general is just going to get better for you. You're going to be happier as well. And you're going to be effortlessly happy, right? You don't have to do stupid things like play video games to be happy. You're just effortlessly happy. You have better focus. You have better energy. Just simply by controlling your environment and not allowing crappy food in your house. So right now, if you're watching this and you have a bunch of crappy food, a bunch of soda in your house, if you have control over your environment, just get rid of it. Now, if, for whatever reason you live with other people and maybe your mom or your dad or your sisters have this stuff, maybe try to talk to them and talk them out of doing it. But if you can't, just make sure you don't keep it in your room. Make sure you don't keep it anywhere where it's easily accessible, and you should be okay. And then you also want to eliminate distractions. So create a workspace that is free from distractions. So how do you do this? Well, first of all, keep it clean, organized, minimize noise and interruptions. One thing you can do is use blocking apps. So there are apps that you can use to block websites. So if you find yourself scrolling Instagram really often, you can block it, right? So, Instagram, block it. YouTube, block it. Facebook, block it, etc. Now, you might be thinking, Shane, I learn a lot from YouTube. Why would I want to block YouTube? Well, yeah, you do learn a lot from YouTube, and you can use these website blocking apps to straight up block YouTube completely, or if you're someone who is actually consuming YouTube for educational purposes because you're watching this channel, there are certain apps you can use to just block the YouTube home page. So block YouTube home page. Block YouTube feed. There you go, right? That's an app you can use to literally just block the YouTube home page. And there you go. You can go on YouTube, but you won't have all the videos popping up on the homepage and videos popping up on the side. And you can literally just search whatever you need. So it's basically a search engine. It's no longer a social media network, right? And so blocking apps are incredibly useful. You can do it on your phone, etc., on the computer that you use. And I highly recommend doing it as well. Another thing you can do is just don't keep too many tabs open. And this is something, don't get me wrong, like I struggle with this as well. But try not to keep too many tabs open. Right now, for instance, on this computer, I got 4 tabs open, right? Try not to keep 20 or 30 tabs open, because chances are, almost always, if you have 20 or 30 tabs open, the chaos of the tabs that you have reflects the chaos inside of your mind, right? Your mind is also chaotic, okay? So try not to have too many tabs open. Try to just work on the one thing at a time. So, 4 tabs open max, because I'm working on one thing at a time. And actually it's just 3 because I just opened that one to show you guys. So really it's just 3 tabs, right? And then some other things you can do is just keep your phone in a room that you rarely go into. Put your phone on grayscale mode. I'll put a picture of what that looks like up on the screen, or a video or something. That's what I do with my phone. I put it on grayscale mode. And also turn your phone off at night, and then don't look at it until after you've completed the hardest tasks of the day. Those are some things you can do to eliminate distractions as well. And there's lots of other things. Just think of the things that distract you. For instance, I've gone through phases where I play a lot of chess, okay? And at first it was cool, and then it became a little bit of an addiction. And so what did I do? I just blocked all chess-related websites, and I just do not go on chess-related websites. It's just that simple, right? So just think of things that distract you and get you away from the main thing, which is either focusing on your health, your focus, your energy, or most importantly, your business, okay? So let's talk about the third thing, which is avoid platitudes and common beliefs. So one thing that's really common that you hear is follow your passion. And this is too simplistic. Okay, it's too simplistic for this to be something that everyone does. Okay, instead of following your passion, which is a platitude, it's something you hear usually unsuccessful people say. Instead, read books like Ikigai, and also books like So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport. Really, really good book. And Ikigai is a little bit, it's a Japanese way of finding what your life purpose is. And it does involve passion. It doesn't ignore passion. And you shouldn't ignore passion completely. But if you just blindly follow your passion, well, most young men, for instance, if they're blindly following their passion, they would just want to play video games in the basement with Cheeto dust on your fingers, drinking Mountain Dew, or maybe go play basketball all day long or something, right? That would be a little bit better, but still, like, you're not going to actually be accomplishing anything other than just getting better at basketball. But books like Ikigai are more balanced. They talk about other things like, instead of just mindlessly following your passion and pursuing, dopamine, essentially, they talk about things like being valuable to society. Like, what can you do that is valuable to society? I think Kennedy was the one who said, think not what your country can do for you, think what you can do for your country, right? And that's a really good mindset to have. Like, how can you be valuable to society? Also passion, right? Obviously. Think about things like passion. And then think about things that you're already good at, right? Just because you're either naturally talented or you just spent a lot of time doing it or you just had problems in your past that you were able to overcome. These are things that you should think about. Passion, being valuable to society, things you're good at. Obviously, Ikigai goes into more detail. And Ikigai, in case just like as a really quick way to kind of go over this, it's basically this. So it's the intersection of 4 circles right here. So what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. And there's more to Ikigai than this. This is just kind of a diagram to talk about one part of Ikigai. But you can definitely go over that, and it's extremely helpful in finding what you should actually do. And another good book is So Good They Can't Ignore You, where Cal Newport makes the argument that developing valuable skills and in-demand skills is more important than pursuing passion alone. And the reason for that is because when you develop and pursue your own natural talents and skills, you become so valuable to society that you can then do whatever you want. So you can then pursue your passion because you're so valuable that you can literally do whatever you want, right? So you've developed all these skills. You know how to do sales. You know how to do marketing. Maybe you know how to write really well, like Cal Newport. Like all these things that you're really good at, all of a sudden, you can do whatever you want because of the fact that you have so many valuable skills. You can go any direction you want. In fact, with my main YouTube channel, I could literally take it almost any direction that I want, as long as it somewhat involves, productivity, self-development, and making money. I could probably take it just about any direction I want to, right? And I have that ability because I've developed all these assets and these natural skills. So Cal Newport makes that argument. It's a very strong argument, and it's something to keep in mind, is that you should basically focus on learning in-demand skills, and that's going to get you to the goal of actually being able to pursue your passion, and also actually figuring out what your passion is, because 99% of people have no clue what their passion is. And the only way to figure that out is just by trying different things. It's just that simple. You just have to try different things. And so you're going to find what your real passion is, because right now you probably think something is your passion and it's actually not. Sorry, playing Call of Duty is probably not your passion. And then you're going to actually be able to pursue that passion because you're going to have the skills that it takes to actually get good at it and pursue it. And then another platitude is be yourself, right? Don't be yourself, guys. Don't be yourself. Instead of being yourself, be the best version of yourself for the current situation that you're in. right? So whatever your seasonal focus is, okay? So you have a seasonal focus. It's a really good word that I got from my friend Itamar. You have a seasonal focus, and become the best version of yourself for the current situation that you're in, aka your seasonal focus. So if your seasonal focus involves a lot of networking, then guess what? You should try to be more extroverted, because you're going to need to do a bunch of networking. And believe it or not, most people think that, personality traits are set, right? In my experience, that's not true. That's absolutely not true, because I have changed a lot of personality traits of myself. I used to be very introverted, and I think like, I could never record videos. Well, now I have 800,000 subscribers, and I've recorded probably like 1,000 videos at this point. And I'm extremely successful on YouTube, and I teach other people how to do it as well, right? So this whole idea that you're just stuck, well, the average person is, because they believe that they are. So if you're average, yeah, sure, you are stuck. You're never going to be able to change. You're never going to be able to overcome any of, the problems that life throws at you. But if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to be above average. You need to be one of the people that can actually change, right? So if the job requires you to be an extrovert, then be an extrovert. If the job requires you to sit in your room for 12 hours a day and grind on your business, then, that's probably fine. You can be an introvert, right? But don't be yourself. Be the best version of yourself for the current situation that you're in and your current seasonal focus and seasonal goals. Okay? And then harnessing emotions, guys, when it comes to productivity. Emotions are like the wind. So let's just say you're a boat, and this is going to be a terrible boat, but this is a boat from above, and you're heading this way, but the wind is blowing directly against you. That's going to be really hard for you to go that way. But if you have sails, right, this is a sail, you can turn the sails and then actually use the wind to go this way, and then this way, and then this way, etc., to eventually go in the direction that you want to go. You kind of have to go like zigzag like this, but you can go in the direction you want to go by using the wind, by turning your sails to use the wind. And it's the same thing with emotions. So the wind going directly against you would kind of be like a negative emotion, right? A negative emotion, it's going directly against you, but you can actually harness that like a sail harnessing the wind and use it to propel yourself in the direction that you want to go. And then same thing is if you're a boat and you're going this way and the wind is going behind you. It's pushing you. Well, you can turn your sail in the, most appropriate direction to harness the wind to go even faster in this direction as well. It all just depends on how you approach it, right? So there were times in my life where I had incredibly negative emotions. I hated my job. I had a girlfriend broke up with me. Like I just felt like shit. And what did I do? I used those negative emotions to get to my goal. That's what I did. And negative emotions, honestly, guys, can be just as powerful as positive emotions, sometimes even more powerful when it comes to reaching your goals. So if you're down bad, if you're in a bad place, guys, use those negative emotions as fuel. Use it as fuel for you to reach your goals, and use it as fuel for you to get out of the current situation that you're in that's making you so unhappy. So if you're happy, use that feeling to get to an even better place. If you're unhappy, use that feeling to get to a better place. It's just that simple. And then thinking ahead, always plan for the future, both on a macro level and a micro level. So this one's micro, planning for the future, and this one's macro. So plan 10 years ahead. What is your goal in 10 years? And then reverse engineer. Reverse engineer the process that you needed to take to get to your goal. Reverse engineer every single step. So here you are. This is your current situation. This is your goal that you want to get to. Now you need to figure out what steps you need to take in order to get to that goal, right? These are little steps, and reverse engineer that process. And that's what you do in order to get to your goal on a macro level. You can think, at the very least, think 1 to 3 years ahead. A lot of people think like decades ahead, sometimes 10 years ahead, but at least think 1 to 3 years ahead. And then on a micro level, plan your day the night before. This is called plan tomorrow today. So plan out exactly what you're going to do the next day, hour by hour. So like 8 a.m., you wake up. What are you going to do from 8 to 9 a.m.? Maybe you're going to brush your teeth, do your morning routine, blah, blah, blah. Then 9 a.m. to 10, what are you going to do? Right? Plan it out. Also, make sure you schedule breaks in and make sure you schedule extra time because things are always going to pop up. You're always going to run into problems and blah, blah, blah. So make sure you schedule extra time in. But this is something I've done for the longest time, guys. And I think I'll actually get into this a little more later on. But I usually just use like a flashcard, just a 3x5 flashcard. And I plan tomorrow today. Like, here's 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10, et cetera, down the card. Right? Super, super powerful. Plan for the future. And you have a lot of respect for yourself when you write down exactly what you're going to do, either the day before or the morning of, and then you do it. You execute. This is going to build so much confidence and self-respect when you write down what you're going to do and then you do it, both on a micro level and on a macro level. This builds an insane amount of self-respect and confidence, like real confidence, not ego, real confidence. Next, let's talk about cheat codes for health. So first one I want to talk about is intermittent fasting and diets, because you have this concept called GIGO, which means garbage in, garbage out. And this is a programming concept, which basically means, if you have some kind of system right here and you put garbage into the system, you are going to get a garbage output. Garbage in, garbage out. But if you put really good stuff into the system, you are going to get really good stuff as a result. It's pretty much just that simple. And it's the same thing with food. If you put crappy food inside your body, then you're going to have crappy energy and you're going to have crappy health and you're going to have crappy focus, et cetera, et cetera. And intermittent fasting is one really good diet. So there's basically two different versions of intermittent fasting. One of them is called the 8-hour diet. So this is basically where you just eat during an 8-hour period. Okay. I've done this one for years. Basically, you just eat lunch and dinner. Most people just skip breakfast. And this is really good because usually when you eat, you kind of get tired right after you eat. And so if you just skip breakfast, a lot of the time, that's going to be really good for not getting tired, right? So 8-hour diet is really good. And then one that I also do from time to time, this is also a really good one, is the OMAD diet, which means 1 meal a day. And this is basically where I just eat dinner. So again, my brain feels a lot better usually when I'm not eating a lot of food. And then I usually get tired after I eat food. So 8-hour diet where I eat just lunch and dinner, or OMAD where I just eat dinner, are really good. And by the way, you literally cannot eat anything else. The only other thing you can have is coffee, pure coffee with no sugar or no creamer, just pure coffee and water. That's it. You can only have coffee and water. Other than, when you're fasting. Okay, only coffee and water. You guys can look this stuff up. There's more to it than that, but that's the gist of it. Another thing is just having different types of diets as well. So I kind of put this down here, but just diet experimentation. This is something where there's a lot to it, but essentially just kind of a crash course on this is if you have type O blood type, if you're type O blood, there's a good chance that carnivore / keto is going to be good for you. And another thing is when it comes to carnivore and keto, if you're from kind of a sort of like, if your ancestors are from a place where there's a lot of snow and there's a lot of times during the year where they can't eat plants and fruits and stuff, then chances are, this diet would work better for you as well. Okay. So type O or your ancestors were from a cold place where there's not a lot of snow and stuff. Okay. So chances are this diet's going to work for you. It's something that you have to try out though. If you're type A or B, a lot of the time, it's going to be a veggie/fruit heavy diet. Veggie/fruit heavy diet. Okay. And then if you're type AB, a lot of the time you can eat a lot of different things. So, carnivore, like a lot of the time you can eat like many different things, but you have to kind of try things out to see what's best for you. So yeah, that's kind of generally speaking how it works. There's definitely more to it than that. It's something, you could read about that online. Okay. So like this book, for instance, Eat Right for Your Type, the Individualized Diet Solution, has a lot of really good information on that kind of thing. And at the end of the day, like you can read books and you can read stuff from other people, but you kind of just have to try stuff. Like you just have to experiment until you find what diet makes you feel the best, what diet's the healthiest, what diet makes you have really good energy levels, mood, productivity, focus, etc. And yeah, some diets to try out: ketogenic, paleo, plant-based diets, like pescatarian would be plant and fish, and then obviously like vegetarian style diets as well. So for instance, if your ancestors are from India, there's a really good chance that more of a vegetarian diet is going to work better for you, right? So yeah, just kind of common sense stuff with the diet. And then also one other thing you can do is, instead of just always being on the same diet, you can cycle diets and cycle supplements. So if you have one diet that works really well for you, let's say you go on keto and it works really well for you for like 3 to 6 months, but then you kind of stop feeling the effects of it after 3 to 6 months, your body just kind of adjusts to it. Well, that happens to a lot of people, where it's incredible for a few months and then your body kind of adjusts to it and it stops feeling the effects. Because at the end of the day, for instance, when it comes to gaining weight, your body is a machine that for almost all of human/humanoid history needed to store fat, right? Like it needed to do that to survive, because it didn't know that you were in a situation where you're probably like not going to die because the government's going to take care of you, or you're going to be in a warm house, or there's no winters that you have to worry about because you have fireplaces and heaters and stuff, etc., right? And you have houses. So but your body doesn't know that. Your body doesn't know that we live in modern times. And so even if you're doing diets that, like keto, for instance, a lot of the time your body will adjust to the diet in 3 to 6 months. And so what you can do is you can actually cycle through different diets. You can cycle, and this keeps your body guessing so that your body doesn't know what to adjust to. So you could cycle from a keto diet to maybe a carnivore diet, cycle from the carnivore diet to more of a vegetarian diet, eating really clean and healthy. And by the way, no matter what you eat, avoid processed foods. Like almost in 100% of cases, you should be avoiding processed foods. Okay. Like avoiding processed foods doesn't matter what diet you're doing, just try to avoid processed foods. And yeah, you can cycle through different diets. Same thing when it comes to supplements. There's supplements, I'm sure you've tried this before. You try some kind of supplement like, I don't know, lion's mane mushroom or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then it works for like 1 week, and then you stop feeling the effects of the supplement, right? Well, what you can do is just cycle through a bunch of different supplements that kind of work for you, and then the moment you're starting to lose tolerance, build a tolerance for it, you just cycle to the next one, right? So this is one thing that people do. And honestly, this is something that I haven't really heard that many people talk about. And I am a pharmacist, so I guess maybe that's why I'm a little bit more deep on this stuff. But cycling works incredibly well. If you cycle through different supplements and stuff, that can work incredibly well. So, for instance, switch from a high protein, high carb diet for different vitamins and supplements. That's one thing you could do. And yeah, those are some really good tips when it comes to health. Some other really good tips is cold showers and morning routines. Basically, first thing when you get up in the morning, you go outside, get some sunlight in your eyes, right? So outside, either, do a little walk, play some basketball, do a little run, do some jumping jacks, whatever, but just get some sunlight in your eyes. You want sunlight, right? You want sunlight in your eyes. Get your heart pumping first thing in the morning, right when you go out, get your heart pumping. You don't have to do a big exercise, maybe like even just like 5 to 10 minutes. Just really, really quick. Just get your heart pumping. Do a little walk, get your heart pumping. And then you come back home and you take a cold shower. right? Take a cold shower. And you can do other things in the morning routine, such as meditate. I love to meditate in the morning. That works incredibly well for me. And yeah, cold showers can improve mental clarity, resilience. You can start with a warm shower and gradually switch to cold shower. But honestly, I think the best thing to do is just do a cold shower, like right off the bat. Just turn it on. Just, get yourself a cold shower. And another thing that's really nice about this is if you're the type of person who takes like 20-minute showers, if you're taking a cold shower, I promise you it's going to be more like 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes max. So it actually saves you a lot of time too. Because I'm the type of person where if I do a warm shower, it's going to be like 15, 20 minutes. So yeah, morning routines, guys. This is another thing that you can cycle. Okay, you can cycle through morning routines. But yeah, try different ones out. There's lots of different videos out there on different morning routines. Some people like to bounce up and down on like a little trampoline. It's called a rebounder. Some people like to do that. And they really like that for their morning routine because, I don't know, it like wakes them up and gets the toxins out of their body apparently. But yeah, they bounce up and down on this little rebounder. Just try different stuff out, guys. Figure out what works for you. The thing is we are not born with a user manual for our bodies. Different things are going to work better for different people. For some people, they don't care about meditation. Meditation doesn't work for them. For other people, meditation is everything. For me, meditation is incredibly important, for instance, right? And then maintain effectiveness just by regularly adjusting habits. This is kind of what I talked about here. Cycle. Again, cycling is something that not a lot of people do because eventually you're going to get kind of used to your morning routine, and that's good. You reach a certain point, maybe after a year or two of doing it, where you're actually just incredibly bored. Like you just dread doing your morning routine. And so instead of continuing to do it and making yourself doing something that you absolutely hate, why don't you just cycle? Just do a slightly different morning routine, right? Cycle to something else. It's going to feel fresh. It's going to feel new. And you're going to probably enjoy it, right? And that's going to make you enjoy doing things that are important. So just one example of this is if you get bored with walking or running, go play basketball in the morning, right? Basketball's fun. Go play basketball in the morning. And after you do that for a year, you're probably going to get tired of that. Maybe you can go back to cycling or walking or running or whatever in the morning. Or maybe you can go do, I don't know, boxing in the morning or something, right? All right, cheat codes for productivity, guys. This is the next big one. This stuff is super, super important. Use timers. Have timers everywhere in your house. I'm actually surprised I don't have a timer with me right now, but I have timers in basically every room of my house. And I actually have ADHD. Okay, I've been diagnosed twice with ADHD. And having timers everywhere in your house, it makes you feel like you're in a Mission Impossible movie and you're just like racing against the clock, right? And it's just a really cool feeling of like having a timer. You set your timer, even stuff like folding laundry or doing the dishes. Set your timer even for stuff like that, which, by the way, you shouldn't be folding your laundry or doing the dishes for very long when you're an entrepreneur. The moment you can outsource that, you should be outsourcing it to someone else. But let's just say you have to do like house cleaning or something. Set your timer. Set your timer to clean the house, right? Use flashcards to plan your day. Already talked about this. Always include breaks for emails and problems that pop up. And follow your flashcard and adjust if something pops up. Do what you write down to build self-respect. It's really, really important you do that. Just to keep this simple, guys, use 2 flashcards. This is the productivity hack that I used since I was like 18 to get a doctorate and become a millionaire. This is like the best productivity hack ever. Use 2 flashcards. One of them is for your daily tasks. Another one is for weekly/monthly tasks. Okay? You write them down on a master list. This is called like a master list for weekly/monthly tasks. And then on a day-to-day basis, you do those daily tasks. And you actually do it hour by hour. Hour by hour. And I cannot tell you how insanely good this is. Now, you can also use an app for long-term tasks. Google Calendar, for instance, is really good for writing some long-term tasks. You can also use like a to-do list. I think I used Todoist in the past. I think it was like Todoist. This was a to-do list app that I would put on my phone and on my computer. I don't really do that anymore. I usually just use Google Calendar and other like long-term planning things. But yeah, don't overcomplicate it, guys. Keep your planning simple and spend more time actually doing things, not organizing and planning. Like spend your time actually taking action and doing things, not organizing and planning. Like that's a huge productivity tip, because people get really complicated with like Notion, and then it's attached to Todoist, and then that's attached to ClickUp and Asana and blah blah, like all this crazy stuff. Like, guys, you should not be spending all your time organizing things. Spend your time actually getting stuff done. Then technology management. I kind of talked about this before already, but phone and website blocking, really important stuff. Use website blockers. The one I like to use is BlockSite. Okay, I like BlockSite, and then of course I use the like YouTube and Facebook feed blocker. And then limit social media usage and avoid unnecessary apps that consume your time and attention. Like the average American, I believe, is spending 10 hours per day on social media. It could have been social media / like screen time, but that's 10 hours a day that they could be actually getting stuff done. They're either spending it on social media, Netflix, et cetera, 10 hours a day. Absolutely insane. If you just took those 10 hours a day, or even half of those 10 hours a day, and just focused on your business, you'd be a millionaire in a few years, guaranteed, right? It's just that simple. But the average person is so addicted that they just can't do this stuff. And so if you're one of those people that has an addictive personality like me, I do, just block it. It's just that simple. Just block it. And control technology. You control technology. Don't let it control you. Very important. Have an addiction to creating content, not consuming it. If you're going to have an addiction, create the content. Don't consume it. Right? And if you do have an addictive personality like me, get addicted to creating content. Okay? Creating content. Working out. And business. Okay, actually making money. I'm addicted to these things: working out, creating content, and making money. Okay, so if you have an addictive personality like I do, get addicted to positive things. Productivity tools and techniques. So timers and alarms. This is actually a question for you guys. Should you use your phone? No. Don't use your phone as a timer, an alarm clock, an alarm. Just get timers and put them around the house. The only time you use your phone for something like that is if you're outside of the house and you don't have a timer with you. Okay. Also, should you be using Asana, Notion, et cetera, et cetera? I personally like to keep it simple. With that being said, depending on the type of business you run, you might need to have more complicated stuff. But that's business. Okay. Now, my team uses Asana, and they use ClickUp, and they also use Airtables. And so my team uses that, but I don't. I don't use that, right? I tell my team what to do using Slack, and then they organize it using Asana, ClickUp, Airtables, etc. Right? So I'm not really using any of this stuff. The only thing I use is I do use Asana just to keep video ideas, but it's just very simple. There's no integrations into it. It's literally just to store video ideas, and that's it. And also try to keep a minimalist workspace. Don't have too many distractions on your desktop or your desk, and try to store everything else away. Like if you're not working on anything else, just have one thing on your screen at a time, and just focus all of your attention on that one thing. And then consistency routines. Establish consistent routines and build discipline. Like you are basically a summation of the habits and routines that you have, right? And that is what excellence is just having a lot of good habits and good routines. Okay, so habits and schedules to maintain productivity and prevent procrastination. Of course, you can always cycle if you get bored with your routines. That's totally fine. And then another question for you: should you use habit tracking journal to monitor and reinforce positive habits? This is a trick question because the answer is yes, but don't use your phone. Okay, use a paper journal. Okay, so use a paper journal, or you can use maybe Excel, something like Excel as well. If you really want to use technology for that, you can use Excel. But I prefer a paper journal personally because I just hate having all these different apps open all the time and having to remember to open an app and all that kind of thing. So I just prefer a paper journal. That's what I like to use. All right, guys, now we're going to get to the good stuff because all that other stuff we talked about, guys, is actually the most important thing when it comes to making money. All the stuff that we just talked about, mindset, health, productivity, This is the most important stuff when it comes to making money. Okay? And people don't want to accept that. But if you want to be the type of person who makes millions of dollars, you need to be the type of person, you need to become the type of person who deserves to make millions of dollars. So instead of thinking, oh, what's the next little tip, like the tips and trick and blah 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 blah. What's the AI chatbot thing that's coming out? What's the new marketing tactic that everyone's using? Instead of thinking like that, become the type of person who deserves to make $1 million. That's what you need to focus on. Instead of thinking like, oh, I want to take diet pills to lose weight and get in shape. Some shortcut, some little tactic, some little cheat code. Instead, think, I want to become the type of person who deserves to have a ripped body. And what do you need to do to become that type of person? Okay? Always have that mindset. So the first thing that I recommend that you do is if you're broke right now and you don't have money, get a remote job. Okay? Remote jobs such as sales, digital marketing, tech-related jobs, instructional design, software development, IT as well, cybersecurity is a good one. Get a remote job. And the reason for this is because it can offer flexibility and the opportunity to learn in-demand skills. And you get a significant amount of freedom by getting a remote job. Even though you don't have total freedom yet because you didn't start your own business, you have a significant amount of time, financial, and location independence. Like significantly more than a normal 9-to-5 worker. Okay? So time, you're saving money on, having to drive to work, you're saving time, which time is money, but you're saving time having to drive to work. You're saving time having to, go and get food. Usually people go and get food or they prepare food for themselves in the morning. You're saving time having to get a bunch of different outfits and comb your hair and make sure you look perfect for everyone. If you're working remote, nobody really cares, right? You're also saving a lot of money with driving, food, having to buy a bunch of different clothes. You don't have to do that, etc. And if you have a fully remote job, you can actually be anywhere in the world. So I have lots of different friends who work fully remote jobs, and they're in Japan, or they're in Thailand, or the Philippines, or Mexico, etc. So they can be anywhere in the world, and this saves a ton of money, a ton of money, and plus it increases your lifestyle. Like, my friend that lives in Japan, he freaking loves Japan, right? So it's good for your lifestyle, and yeah, this can offer you flexibility and an opportunity to learn in-demand skills. Okay, and this is incredibly important. So it also allows you to save a bunch of time, and ideally you want to get remote work in fields like sales, digital marketing, tech, etc. So valuable skills. Get paid to learn valuable skills, because most people pay to learn questionably valuable skills. But you are going to flip that paradigm on your head, and you're going to get paid to learn valuable skills. Okay, that's what you're going to do. So some other types of jobs you could potentially get, like instructional design. For instance, if you want to be a YouTuber, why not work for a YouTuber, right? So get a type of job that aligns with your future goals. The next biggest thing is learning and skill acquisition. While you are learning and while you are acquiring skills, document your journey. Document your journey on YouTube. Document your journey on Twitter. Document your journey on LinkedIn, Instagram, etc. Instagram, Facebook, etc. And there are quick ways to do this. And this is something I talk about on my channel. I teach people exactly how to do this in a very efficient way so it doesn't take much of your time. Check out the free resource down in the description, pinned comment below, and you can book a call with me. But yeah, YouTube is the most important one. It's the one where you make the most money. But you can syndicate that content that you create on YouTube onto a lot of these other platforms. The other biggest thing, guys, is capturing emails. This is still a freaking cheat code. And this is something that you might be thinking, well, duh, everyone knows to capture emails. And I remember I used to think the same exact thing. I was like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to capture emails. I didn't realize how important capturing emails is until recently. I would probably have an email list of 100 to 150K easily if I'd been capturing emails the whole time. Maybe even 200K, honestly, probably close to 200K. But right now my email list is like 70K because I didn't capture emails the whole time. And when you have an email list, on average, you make $1 per month per subscriber. So that means from this email list, I should be making at least 70K per month. At least. And in most niches, it's a lot higher than that. And if I would have had 200K, that means I would be making 3 times more than I make now if I literally just did the email list more often. So use lead magnets. This is something valuable that solves somebody's problem to get people on your email list. And this is the biggest money maker, guys. Email list, I cannot tell you how important this is. Always, always, always do email list. There's a saying in internet marketing, the money is in the list. And I thought that I was smarter than those experienced marketers. And I'm like, nah, man, the money's got to be in other places. I barely ever check my email. Nope. They're right. The money's in the list. Okay. And hopefully you can learn from, me losing a ton of money and not do it yourself. Build your email list from day one. And then building in-demand skills, skill development. Focus on developing high-income skills such as sales, marketing, copywriting, video editing, these types of things. Creating content, content creation, very important skill, creating content. And you can use these skills to either get a job where you get paid to learn in-demand skills, you get paid to even learn more skills, or start a business, start your own business. And invest time in learning through online courses, books, and practical experience. Consistently apply what you learn in real-world projects, okay? I currently, in just this year alone, I've spent probably 150K on various different, online courses, masterminds, coaching, etc. Right now I'm in a 50K mastermind, 50K per year, and a 40K mastermind. So I don't just sell coaching and stuff like that. I actively participate in it myself because I know how valuable it is, and it makes you learn way, way faster, right? And then the next thing is position yourself correctly. Position yourself when you're creating content, understand your target audience, their pain points, and how your content can solve their problems, and tailor your content to meet their needs and preference. Now, the easiest way to do this is basically when it comes to being an expert and not an expert, it's a scale from 1 to 10. So you got a 1, you got a 3, you got a 5, you got a 7, and a 10. And if you are a 3 out of 10, you can teach a 1 out of 10 how to get to a 3 out of 10. If you're a 5 out of 10, you can teach both a 1 out of 10 and a 3 out of 10 how to get to a 5 out of 10. If you're a 7 out of 10, you can teach a 1 out of 10, 3 out of 10, and a 5 out of 10 to get to a 7 out of 10. And if you're a 10 out of 10, you can teach anybody. However, a lot of the time, newbies actually prefer to learn from people who are lower level. Like, for instance, I don't think I'd learn very much from LeBron James in basketball. Like, sure, he could teach me a little bit here and there, but I'd probably learn a lot more from somebody who's like a 3 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10 in basketball. It's just that. It's the same with chess. I play chess from time to time. I'd probably learn a lot more from someone who's like a 5 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 than trying to learn from Hikaru Nakamura or Magnus Carlsen in chess. They're just so much, they're so far above my level that it's been probably 25 years since Magnus has been a beginner or like even an intermediate, right? It's been like 25 years. He doesn't even remember being a beginner, right? So it's like, how much could he really teach me? Probably not that much, right? So it's the same thing with you guys. Position yourself correctly. If you're an expert at something, position yourself as an expert. If you're not an expert, let's say you're a total beginner or you're like a 1 to a 3, somewhere around there, position yourself as a learner. And if you're somewhere in the middle, position yourself as an enthusiast. You're not quite an expert, but you know more than learners. And then teach people how to get to your level, right? And that is super important when it comes to positioning yourself correctly. And then the last thing is sell high ticket if possible. Sell high ticket. Okay? It's just, I've made entire videos about this, why you should sell high ticket. It's just way more profitable to sell high ticket. It's been this way for a long time. It's going to be this way for a long time. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Sell high ticket. Okay. It's just that simple. Work closely with people. Be like a brain surgeon, not like a general practitioner. Be a brain surgeon that helps like one person a day a lot, helps a small amount of people a lot, whereas a general practitioner helps a lot of people a little bit. Okay? Helps a small amount of people a lot in this case, and a general practitioner helps a lot of people, but they barely help them out, like a tiny little bit. Maybe they're giving them like allergy pills or something, right? Be the brain surgeon. Be the specialist that helps a small amount of people a lot and charge high ticket for it. So yeah, and the biggest cheat code of all, guys, watch my channel. And the even bigger cheat code than that is check the link in the description and the pinned comment below. And an even bigger cheat code than that, watch my other videos, which I'm going to have pop up on the screen. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care.